Perhaps the hardest part of making money in the OnlyFans DMs is objection handling. It's what separates mediocre chatters from great ones. So in this video, I'm going to break down our entire system for destroying objections in the chats so you can make more money. Really quickly, I wanted to start by showing you some of the biggest mistakes that people make when objection handling, starting off with changes in your tone when a subscriber doesn't buy something straight away. A lot of chatters will put a lot of effort into interactions on the lead up to a sale. Good sexting, fast replies, long messages, emojis, just seeming like they're friendly and they're into it. But the second that subscriber shows an ounce of difficulty, all of that goes down the drain. Something like this. So that sexting is actually quite good to start with. The person's into it, but you send a pay-per-view and all of a sudden, when they don't buy it, it's okay. They're going to pick up on that and they're going to know that they were only there to spend money. Now, some people may argue that it's a good thing if subscribers feel like they're only there to spend money and that's how they get attention. I personally prefer to work under the premise that you never want to burn a bridge with anyone. You have no idea who's going to spend later. And it's true in most industries in the world that the majority of customers aren't ready to buy right now. But moving on, desperation and begging. A lot of chatters think that they can seem so excited for this subscriber to buy something, but the framing is all off. Really basic human psychology. People want what they can't have. And if someone is begged to do something, they're going to want to do it less. A bit like this, using all these emojis like the emoji. I don't know what that was, but you know what I'm talking about. And they're just saying, oh, I'm so crazy for you. I need you to see it. Like, aren't you going to say I made it for you? Like, you're just begging and begging and begging, and you're putting them in a position of power. Moving on to guilt tripping or just using negativity to try and get them to buy. Now, this is something super common with a lot of agencies and chatters because it can work in the short term. But again, you're going to be burning bridges if you're pressuring people into buying by just making them feel bad. Like this example, person doesn't buy. I don't know if I can get that one as great as it sounds. Pretty nice about it. Oh, but I made it just for you. This is what they do first. They act all sad and then they'll say something narky like, oh, so I guess you just don't think I'm worth it, huh? Even if the person buys that one, again, they're going to know that they are only there to spend money and you mean nothing to them. I can tell you that it is better largely if people just think that you actually want to talk to them. And people resort to this because it's the obvious choice, but that's the point of this video. I'm going to show you a bunch of things that you can use that isn't guilt tripping. Then we have over negotiation. This is probably the laziest thing people do when they're trying to get someone to buy. Now, I have no problem with discounting sometimes. There are times when it just makes sense. But if you just constantly lower the price too much, too fast, too frequently, you're going to send the content value into the ground, and a lot of the time they don't even buy it. Like this. They say, oh, that's a bit much. Well, I want you to see it so bad. How about I crash the price for you? Like straight away. So that's an $80 pay-per-view. Then instantly they go to $50. That's almost half the price gone like that. We don't want to be dropping the price that much, that fast. But we'll get to that later. But again, I've seen this happen so many times. They go, still a bit much. Drop it down $30. So you've dropped more than half the price like that. They are never going to respect your content's value and they're going to keep on asking you to do that because you made it so easy. Now, while it is true that most objection handling happens after you ask for money, there can also be obstacles that present themselves early on that lead to objections later. So what can we do to make sure we have the least amount of problems down the line? Well, starting with qualifying the subscriber. Are they in the right place to be sold? Is it the right time to sell them? Is what you're trying to sell them most appropriate for their situation? A lot of chatters will try to qualify a subscriber using the exact same overused question. So what are you up to right now? It's super obvious and a lot of the time they're going to know exactly what you're doing. Here's two ways that you can do that without making it so obvious. You could dress that question up quite a bit, saying something like, oh, so what are your plans for the rest of the evening? You can even do it in advance. So what are you going to do when you're off work later? If you're planning to sell them later, that way you don't have to ask them in the moment. Or the best way that I would say is to say something like, oh, do you have like 20 minutes now for me to just vent about something that happened today? What you're doing is seeing if they have time to respond to you, but saying it's for a different reason other than selling them. And then you still transition into selling anyway. I also don't like to give up on people if they're not in the ideal situation to sell them a lot of content. Let's take Barry. He's on his lunch break and he's going back to work in 5 minutes. Sure, probably not beneficial to try and sell him an hour-long sexting script. However, you probably could sell him a photo set, a long video for $120, something he can get straight away and enjoy right now. But let's say James, he's at home in bed about to go to sleep. Maybe it would be a good idea to sell him the sexting script. It's all about choosing the right thing, not just saying, do I sell him or not? Then we need to look at fans' buying behavior, seeing what content they like. How do they buy it? What sort of pricing? Do they do an upfront payment or do they just buy multiple things? Do they unlock pay-per-views or do they tip? If you go on Inflow and you click on pay-per-view in the bottom right corner, you can see everything that they have bought. And it takes fucking 5 seconds to look at that, but it just gives you so much information on the best way to go about it. There are heaps of people on our accounts that won't just unlock heaps of pay-per-views one after the other, but they'll pay $500 as a tip for a sexting script unlocked. There are also people that only want pictures. And if you don't take the time to look at it, you're going to sell them the wrong thing and then go, oh, this guy's a time waster, he doesn't buy. It's also important to look at the notes. Maybe the person's going to unlock a $1,000 custom on Tuesday. Maybe hold off on selling them until then. Just take the time to make sure that you're selling them the right thing at the right time in the right way. Super simple, but very important. Make sure that the subscriber is at buying temperature. In other words, are they fucking horny enough? Because people generally don't want explicit content if they're not turned on. Yet so many chatters will just go, hey, how are you? Good, pay-per-view. I'm having so much fun right now, want to see me fuck myself in the shower. Yeah, well, that's probably not going to work yet. Use your sexting, make sure they're ready, and then they'll buy it. Then we have matching the creator's tone. Do your chatters actually sound like the creator? Now, how do we do that? We can look at the creator's socials for phrases they use, emojis they use, topics of conversation, the things they talk about. Obviously, good English is also very important. If you don't worry about that, you're going to have a lot of subscribers that go, oh, so am I actually talking to you the second you ask for money? Get your chatters acquainted with this, it's 100% worth it. It's also very important if you're going to sell content that is intended to be live, so a sexting script, you want to make it believable. When I say believable, I mean scenarios that could actually happen. I find it's best if the creator doesn't talk in the videos because then it can clash with what you're saying in the messages and seem pre-recorded. I've just seen some dumb fucking content, man. Like I've seen videos in creators' vaults from before we sign them where they just go to a cupboard, open it up and like a dildo falls out. That kind of funny, but it's obviously pre-recorded. Netflix, I'm in bed, I'm on the couch, I just got done working out. That shit actually works for sexting scripts. Keep it simple. By doing these things, you are nipping the problem before you ask for money, overcoming the obstacle, and you're more likely to get that sale. Then we have follow-ups. Essentially, once you send a pay-per-view, that subscriber will either buy it, explain why they can't buy it, ignore you and keep on talking and sexting like they didn't see it, or just completely leave you on read. In this case, we know what the objection is and we can move on to handling it, but for these two, we need to uncover the objection, see why they didn't buy. This is why it's really important that once you send a pay-per-view, don't forget about the person and wait till they buy. Keep on checking in. Really, if you're on Inflow, you should pin, open in a new tab, everyone that you are currently selling. That way, once you send a pay-per-view, you can keep on checking, okay, is he gonna buy it? Has he seen it? Has he ignored me? Then we can move on to uncovering the objection. So what do we do when a subscriber ignores our pay-per-view and they just keep on talking or sexting as if they didn't even see it? Well, we don't want to start asking them to buy it, asking them why they didn't buy it, or begging them to buy it. Actually, we want to seem like we don't even care. For now, unfazed, nothing changes. Continue the conversation or sexting until you get 2 more replies from them. But keep your tone the same. Like I said before, use the same emojis, same message length. Don't let them feel that drop in your mood. After our 2 replies, we want to reply back to the pay-per-view and say something that isn't super pressuring. A good example is, are you going to get this one or should we stop the fun? That just works insanely well, especially for sexting sequences, content that is meant to be taken right now. A lot of the time they'll just buy it from that. But another good line for content that isn't necessarily meant to be live is just seeming nervous, saying something like, haha, like I can't believe that's in the chat there, it's actually making me nervous, with a little sweat face. Just getting them curious about it. That's the FOMO method that I'm going to get into a bit more later. But all we're trying to do is uncover the objection, see why they actually didn't buy it, and that's going to allow us to start objection handling. If they don't tell you straight away from using a line like that, you can just ask, oh, well, is there any way I can help with this? Something that puts you in that position of authority where you are letting them see it instead of you asking them to buy it. What about when a subscriber leaves our pay-per-view on red entirely? This is why it's so important to have a way of keeping on top of who you're selling. If you're using Inflow, you can open them in a new tab. Like I said before, you need to be checking in on the pay-per-views you've sent. Don't just send them and forget about it. Open up the chat so you can see, are there those 2 ticks that indicate they've seen it, and then we can start our follow-ups. We want to wait 3 minutes from when the subscriber has seen the pay-per-view, not from when you sent it, from when they see it. Then we just want to say their name and a question mark. That's it. Don't go, Jack, sad face, sad face, sad face. Like, don't be desperate, don't beg. We just want to get them to reply. Now, once they reply to that message, they'll probably just say yes or what, or even if they don't. Next, we want to say, is everything okay? I'm not scary, with a smiley face, or something along those lines, friendly, no pressure, not telling them to buy it yet. Now, once they reply, if they don't already tell you why they didn't buy it, that's when we can again use our line, are you going to get this one or should we stop the fun? Or something along those lines. And again, at this point, they should explain to you why they didn't buy it, or sometimes they'll just buy it. Really quickly, if you're taking value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you could just quickly leave it a like. It helps me out a lot. I drop videos like this multiple times a week, so if they help you, consider subscribing, share it with your friends, and if there are any problems that you are facing that I could make a video on to help you, leave it in the comments and I'll try to get to all of them. And thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. At the time of this video. I'm just going to keep pumping these videos out. Like I said, any suggestions for videos that would really help you, I'm more than happy to make it. I appreciate all the DMs, all the comments. Thank you. At this point, we should have uncovered their objection. We know exactly why they didn't buy. And largely speaking, it's going to be one of these 3 objections. A value objection, saying something like, that's too expensive or I can't afford it. Now they are different, but we'll get to that in a moment. There's also a content fit objection. Basically, what you're trying to sell them isn't what they want. They might say something like, do you have any something else? Or I just don't want that. There's also a trust issue objection. Is this pre-recorded? Is this really you? Basically suspecting that it's an agency, something like that. But a lot of the time you won't realize that they suspect something until you ask for money. And then they start bombarding you with these questions. So now I'm going to break down each of these objections so you have the highest likelihood of getting them to buy anyway. The first and most common kind of objection is a value objection. So if you're able to deal with these situations, you're going to be able to handle the majority of objections. Basically, it means that the subscriber doesn't feel like it is worth investing in the content that you sent them. And something crucial to understand to deal with a value objection is that value is entirely subjective on OnlyFans. You may say that this video is worth $100. I say it's not. Who's right? Nobody's right. So that means it's up to you or your chatters to be able to inflate the value of your content. That's why when chatters just send videos abruptly to people going, this is my hottest video ever, $200, you're gonna love it, they go, well, I don't know if that's worth that. The most helpful advice that I can give you when it comes to increasing the value of anything is that you need to be making it a big deal. What does that mean? Well, I'll go on a bit of a fucking tangent for you. Let's say that I'm a waiter in a restaurant and I obviously want a big tip. Someone comes in and I read them the specials. They say, I would love the steak. I go, sure, you can have the steak. Whatever, they get the steak. But if I was to say, oh, I'm not sure if we have any more steak, I could go and ask and just make sure that they save the last one for you. Do you want me to do that really quick? Sure. Okay, go back. Okay, I've just made it so that we can get 2 steaks. Is that good? Great, amazing. I get a fat tip. Go to the casino and burn it all. The point is that by making it a big deal, I made them appreciate it more. It made it seem like I'm doing them a favor. So in everything we do, with pretty much all objection handling, we want to be making things a big deal. Say more, don't rush to say things, and say it slower. But I'll give you some examples. So let's say a subscriber tells you that pay-per-view is too expensive. We need to make them feel like it is not too expensive, therefore increase its value. We really have 2 main ways of doing that. The first way is by offering more value before lowering the cost. Basically, giving them more for the same price before just discounting. By doing this well, you're gonna net so much more at the end of the day than if you just discount everything the second someone says that's too expensive. But there's definitely a right and a wrong way of doing this. For example, if a chatter just said, if you get that one, I'll send something else for free. That doesn't seem like a big deal. It seems like something that you do all the time. They're not going to appreciate it. It doesn't seem like you're doing them a favor. And you're going to train them to just always say, that's too expensive, and they get more stuff. The guideline I would follow is to first offer non-tangibles. In the context of OnlyFans, that could be a dick rating, a sexting session, so just using words, not actually sending any content. Some people are into that. You can use a voice note, an AI voice note. You could even say, I'll give you a discount on the next piece of content because who said what it was gonna actually cost anyway. A really good trick is to gamify this whole process, making it feel like a game, a bit of a challenge. I'll show you an example in a second. We should also make sure that we increase the offer slowly. If someone says, well, I don't really want a dick rating, don't go, well, what about a 20-minute sex tape? Maybe go, well, how about a couple of pictures? Like, sure, you could get to the point where you're sending them the next video in the script, especially if you're up to like 150, 200, that kind of price range. But you don't want to go all out and just give them the most valuable thing straight away, because then that's also going to damage the content value. We really want to focus on making it a big deal. That means saying more and saying it slower. Dragging it on a bit, if you will. I've got a bit of an idea if you'll hear me out. See how we aren't rushing to tell them exactly what we want to do? We use language like just this once, only because this is all you're doing, and I'm in a good mood. We really want to make them appreciate the offer we're about to give them. If you can manage to watch this entire thing without finishing, I'll send you something else for free. That's how we can make it a game. Now it's a challenge, much more engaging. See how we're using multiple messages? I tell chatters to use lots of filler words. Well, I don't know. Things like that, seeming unsure. That's how you make it a big deal. I can be too generous on here though, so if you think you're up for it, I'd just do it before I have a chance to change my mind. That's introducing a bit of urgency. Like, look at the difference. Which one do you think the fan is going to appreciate more and feel like is genuinely a valuable offer? while also not training them to just say things are too expensive all the time. Moving on to our second way of increasing the value of content, and that's by using the FOMO method, or fear of missing out. I see a lot of people throw this term around, but they never really get into the specifics of how to actually use it. Put simply, we're using reverse psychology to make them want to buy it. Subscriber goes, "That's too expensive," instead of us begging them to buy it. "Oh, I want you to see that's so bad, please can you unlock this?" You say, "I'm actually nervous about you seeing that. I feel like you're gonna judge me. I'm really embarrassed." You're pushing them away, making them curious, and that's what makes them unlock it. I would use this sparingly, and mainly with your more expensive content, because if you do it every time a subscriber says that's too expensive, it's gonna stop working as well. Before we get into our examples, here's a couple of things that make the FOMO method work really well. The first thing is called tying them in. This is one of my best chat managers tricks. Basically, you're making them think that something that happened in the content is because of them. For example, "I can't believe I did that for you at a minute 37. I knew you'd love it, but now I'm second guessing it and I think it's embarrassing." You can also use language like, "This was all your fault. What are you making me do? That's so embarrassing. I don't even know if I want you to see that." We want to create curiosity. I like to avoid giving subscribers all the details about what happens in content where I can. People want what they can't have. People are curious. So if we can work on that and just make them think what the fuck is even in this video? Rather than specifically describing every single thing that happens like a lot of chatters do. Like I said before, we want to push them away. They go, "That's too expensive." And you go, "That's completely fine. I'm so nervous about you seeing this video. Take it or leave it. But if you want to get it, I would just get it now." You do need to be careful that you don't pull away so hard that they start going, "Oh, well, I wouldn't want to make you uncomfortable or nervous like that." So you need to do something called push and pull. You pull back going, "Oh, I'm so nervous about this video. I can't believe I sent that. I'm embarrassed. You're going to judge me," whatever. But if they go, "Oh, well, it's completely fine then, wouldn't want to make you uncomfortable," you push back and go, "Well, if I was going to show anyone, it would be you. But I'm still nervous." You see, push and pull. You can also create urgency by threatening to unsend it. You can even unsend it for real. You'll find that the moment you unsend an expensive video and they've been buying up until that point, they're gonna go, "Fuck, I missed out on that." Then you can give them one more chance to buy it and they're gonna be much more likely to get it. But remember, this will all fuck up the moment you start begging them again, because that contradicts everything you just did. You need to seem like you genuinely are nervous and hesitant about it. But here's our example. They say, "That's too expensive." And you can just go on a bit of a tangent. "I can't believe that. My hands are so sweaty. I'm so nervous." Make them curious. They're gonna ask, "What about?" That's when you can reply back to your pay-per-view saying something like, "I literally never go this far. It's because of you though, just doing things I regret." See, that was tying them in. It's because of you. Make them curious. They'll probably say something like, "What did you do?" This is where you say more and say it slower. I feel like you're gonna judge me. Look, if you wanna get it, I would just do it. Or I might overthink and unsend it. It is because of you though, so you might like it, but I'm like, sweat face. You just want to seem nervous. Because he's going to start going, "What the fuck is in that video?" It does take practice. It can be difficult to make this work. But once you get it down, it is insane how effective it is. There are going to be times where trying to raise the value of the content just won't work, or a person may simply not have the funds. It is okay to discount sometimes if you do it well. Don't rush and don't make it easy. I know you're sick of me saying it, but make it a big deal when you discount. Otherwise, you're going to train the person to just say it's too expensive, so you discount them. It needs to seem like this big favor that you're doing them this one time, and that's how you stop them from asking all the time. Discounting is where you're most likely to damage the content value, and people just won't feel like they have to pay the prices you ask. A good way to get around that is by renegotiating terms. Let's say you send a person a video for $100. They say, "That's too expensive. Can I have it for $70?" You go, well, you can't have that video for 70, but you can have this video for 70. That way you're not just lowering the price of the content because they asked, they're getting something else. You can also do something I call the extra pick trick. I just called it that. Basically, you send a pay-per-view with some extra pictures or extra short videos in it with the intention of removing them if they ask for a discount. So you're not just lowering the price for no reason, you're taking the extra stuff out, lowering the price as a result. Content value is preserved. I tell chatters to try and only discount by 20% at a time maximum. So many chatters think they need to drop it by 30, 40, 50%. But then you show that subscriber that you're willing to just remove half the price like that, then if they discount it again, it's gonna be like a quarter of the price. Trust me, you can discount in small increments. I also tell them, try to do no more than 2 drops in the price. You drop the price down once and you can do it again. And make sure that there's a buffer. You don't just drop the price down once, they go, sorry, can I have it for less? You do it instantly. Again, you're making it too easy. You need to go through it each time. Make it a big deal, drop the price. Make it a big deal, drop the price. And there are gonna be times where you can just stay firm on the price. And that's gonna be the best thing long term because the person may come back when they can afford it. And they'll think subconsciously, I do want that video because she didn't make it easy and it probably is worth around the price she's asking. Here we've got an example of a chatter just over negotiating and making it way too easy. The person says, I can't really do that much, could you do it for 40? And they go, I could crash it down for you. And they send it, how about that? Instantly, they drop the price. Why would the subscriber not just do that every single time? And here we've got a better example. Subscriber says the same thing, I'm always 100% firm with my prices. Well, see, we're using those filler words, making it seem like we're really thinking about it, like we're considering doing them a big favor. Just because it's you and I'm in a good mood, I'm gonna do this. But I never do this, so just get it before I overthink it and change my mind. See, you've turned it into a big deal. This is what I keep saying, so get it through your head. Also in our caption, we tied them in and we said, because I know for certain you're gonna love the second half of this video. By being specific, it makes them curious. A bit of extra sauce for you. And going back to the original value objections, that's too expensive or I can't afford it. The way we would deal with it differently is if someone says that's too expensive, it means you need to inflate the value. So I would go quite hard on FOMO or offering more value. If someone's adamant that they can't afford it, that's when you might want to discount them if you do it well. But here's a bit of a mental frame that I tell my chatters. If a subscriber says, I can't buy that $50 video, I'm on a low salary, I genuinely can't afford it. If you were to give them every single thing in the vault, so you just say, okay, you know what, for no reason, I'm gonna sell you every bit of content I have for $50. Suddenly, they're gonna have $50. So it really is a value problem. They don't think that it is worth it. Like, yes, you can just rush to discount it thinking that's the only way. Oh, but he said he only has $37 to spend. I guarantee you that this guy has more money than that. Where's he texting you from? Under a fucking bridge? But yeah, that's how you deal with a value objection. Let's move on to how to deal with a content fit objection when the subscriber wants content other than the content you sent them. They'll generally say either one of two things. Either you'll send a pay-per-view and then they'll start asking, oh, is this content, or do you do this in this video? And you don't. Or they'll just blatantly go, I don't want that, I want this. Now they are different, so we're gonna deal with them differently. If they do the first thing, we can use a trick called diverting with sexting. Basically, we wanna distract them from their original request, get them more turned on and impulsive about something relevant to the content, and then link it back to the pay-per-view. Let's say you're selling a subscriber a sexting script and you send a video of the creator riding a dildo. And then they ask you, oh, are you bent over in this video, babe? And you're not. The first thing you want to do, surprisingly, is ignore them. So many chatters will instantly start trying to make excuses. Oh, I can't bend over because my back hurts and this and that. Maybe if you just shut the fuck up for like 3 minutes, they'll just buy it. People are impatient. They ask the question and then they just go, fuck it, and they get it. You'll be so surprised. But let's say that he doesn't. Now we need to transition back into our sexting, and we do that with what if statements. We need to link it back to sexting that is relevant to that video. If it's the creator writing, then we could say something like, well, what if I was on top of you and I reached down and choked you while I was writing? It needs to be something more exciting than whatever they were sexting about. That's how you capture their attention. Does that make sense? It's like a puppy. If you're trying to get its attention off this small toy, you need to throw the bigger toy or it's not going to give a fuck. We want to make him forget about her bending over in this video and start getting him excited about her writing. So we want to continue our sexting for 3 to 4 replies, or until you feel that he's excited about this new idea and he doesn't really care about the original request. That's when we can link back to our pay-per-view, replying to it and saying something like, that's what I was thinking about while I was writing it like this. You know, it has to just relate to the sexting, so he goes, oh, like I'm imagining this now, so I really want to see it. This is also an opportunity to gamify the pay-per-view, especially for submissive subscribers, but I'll show you that in a second in our examples. You really do just need to persist sometimes. You need to continue the sexting until he's actually excited about this new thing and he's not concerned about his old request. And in some cases, you can do something called looping back, which is basically stretching the truth that that piece of content is what he's asking for. This isn't going to work every time, it's case by case. But in this example of you send writing video, he wants creator bent over, you need to stretch the truth somehow and say, oh, well, I am bending over, like on top of you. I'll leave that with you. Don't get a chargeback, don't blatantly lie, but you'd be surprised what you can do with a bit of wordplay. Something else that works really well is using a voice note distraction. When the subscriber asks for this other thing that you don't do, you distract them by sending a voice note that's meant to be what the video sounds like. If it's the creator writing, you could imagine. But it taps into male psychology because guys are very visual. If they can imagine it happening, they're going to want to see it. So just record a couple of voice notes that sound similar to the pay-per-view, not the hardest thing in the world to do, and send them when they say shit like that. Here we have an example of diverting with sexting. We send a video, which based on the caption is likely some kind of pussy reveal content. The fan says, any toy videos, which that video is not. Now we use our what if statement. What if I just pulled you into me by the back of your head, making you eat it? That's our more exciting thing to capture their attention, because the girl being the dominant one is a taboo topic. Specifically, what you say doesn't matter as long as it's much more exciting than anything you've spoken about up until this point. We keep the sexting going, talking about that, and that's when we can link it back to the pay-per-view, saying something like, I was imagining pulling you into me just like this. Do you reckon you could handle 10 minutes if I was doing that, Jack? It's a bit of a short example, but we got them excited about what happens in the video, and then we gave them a reason to actually unlock it because they started imagining that happening. The real trick is choosing that more exciting thing, because if you can capture their attention, this is going to work really well. I've got another example I wanted to show you that demonstrates how to gamify the pay-per-view for submissive subscribers. So we send a pay-per-view in a femdom sexting context with a submissive guy that's into that. They ask, do you have any videos in latex? That video we sent is not. Now we divert with our dominant sexting. You know, who is the one in charge here? What if I made you sit in the other room for talking back to me like that? A lot of them are going to love that. Then once we get them more excited by basically degrading them, that's when we can link back to our pay-per-view, but making it a game. You're going to watch this imagining that you're stuck sitting in the corner while I'm pleasing myself like this. You'll try to get through the whole thing without getting hard. Do you understand me? You're making it a challenge, it's a game, a bit more engaging, and that's the sort of shit that will make them buy. Divert your sexting to get them more excited, keep going until they forget about what they asked for, and then link back to your pay-per-view. Now there's a different strategy we can use if a subscriber literally just says, I don't want that, I only want this. It's going to be pretty hard to convince them to buy the original video, so we need to try to get the most money possible. And a great way of doing that is upselling a bundle, trying to get them to buy the original video, which will allow them to get the video that they want to see. Now, they can be quite rude about this. We want to keep things positive, so it can help to use a bit of humor to lighten the mood. Something about, oh, put the brakes on for a second, I can't go that fast, haha. I'll show you an example in a second. Again, when we're doing this, we want to make it a big deal. If we seem like we're doing them a big favor, they're going to be more inclined to agree to it. We should be gamifying where possible. If we can go, if you can watch the original video without finishing, I'll let you buy the next one, or I'll give you a discount on the next one, the thing you actually want to see. Now, you can make this offer in one of two ways. Either you can say you can have the other video at a discount after buying this video, or you can just make one big bundle that seems like a good deal, but they are paying more. And create a bit of urgency. I can't believe I'm doing this. It's only because it's you. Get it before I change my mind. That kind of thing. Here's an example. Very common. The subscriber will say something like, I'd honestly rather if you just sent your hottest video. Maybe they're aware of how sexting scripts work and they know that there's a climax video at the end. Make a little joke. Can't go from 0 to 100 like that. I'm not a Ferrari. Then you start making it a big deal. I'm thinking. They might be a bit dry. What do you mean? Well, I've got a bit of an idea. You always want to go through this charade. I don't know if I should. I'm such a pushover. Take note of this shit. This is the language you need to be using. If you can manage to get through that original video, just this time, I'll send the other video you want at a discount, which I would never usually do so soon, but I doubt you'll be able to get through it, especially around like 1 minute and 6 seconds. Tying them in, really good strategy, makes them curious. I'd just do it before I change my mind, I'm low-key crazy. Adding your urgency. It's all about not giving up. We're not just folding and going, okay, I'll just send that other video you want. We want to be the ones in charge. We sent that video, they buy that, and then they get the video they want, and they spend more money. Then we have trust issue objections, where either a fan suspects they're talking to someone other than the creator, agency, bot, something like that, or the content that is meant to be taken live, like a sexting script, is actually pre-recorded. Now, while they are two separate objections, there are a lot of similarities because a lot of subscribers associate pre-recorded content with agencies. Again, the first thing we want to do is ignore it once. Only do it once, especially in this case, or it's going to seem suspicious. But if you just send a pay-per-view and the fan goes, is that taken right now? Give it 3 minutes. Don't instantly start going, oh, of course it's taken right now. You think I would lie to you? Pointless. Now, if that doesn't work and you really need to confront the situation, don't get defensive, don't get really upset, and don't play dumb, like you have no idea that agencies exist. This is what most chatters do, but you have nothing to stand on. If they really suspect they're talking to an agency, they're going to catch you out. If they really suspect that content is pre-recorded, they're going to catch you out. So what can we do to actually lower their suspicion? We need to do the opposite of that and act completely comfortable talking about it. We can do that by using humor, confronting the conversation head on. Think about what a real creator would do if they had nothing to hide. If someone calls you a bot, use a little funny remark like, well, I guess I'm ChatGPT on the funny setting. Something like that, instead of going, oh, what do you mean, babe? Of course it's really me. But if someone really suspects it, it's all about buying time. You do need the creator to send you a voice note or use an AI voice note. Now, AI voice notes are pretty good, but if it's a really sus fan who's super anal, you might want to get a real one. And a good trick with voice notes, don't get the creator to go, oh, of course it's me, Jack. Get the creator to read the conversation and reply to something the fan said in their voice note. For example, if the conversation shifted to the subscriber just complaining about the state of OF and how many agencies there are, if you just get the creator to randomly send a voice note going, yeah, I know, right? It's so bad. I see so many accounts. They're so spammy. That's going to seem so much more legit than if you just go, it's me, Jack. And if you can do it before they really ask and are just sitting there waiting for it, it's going to be much more believable. But if you can't do that, you still can get around it if you can be nonchalant enough. If they say, oh, there's so many agencies on here, it's hard to trust anyone, agree and validate them. Go, oh, I completely understand that. It's really bad. The landscape is so fucked. Everyone's a robot. It's so spammy. Have a conversation about it, hiding in plain sight. And if they ask for some kind of verification video, like count back from 5 on your fingers or fucking hold up a note, something like that, to stall, to give the creator time, you can tell the verification story, which is basically just a way of going on a tangent, distracting them, if you will. Say, oh, for sure I can do that, but a really funny story, this guy once wanted me to do a handstand to prove it's me, and then he wanted me to go outside naked and stand in my garden. And I was like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. Like, you just need to talk about that, telling this long fucking kind of funny story to buy yourself time. But when you do things like that and you seem genuinely comfortable talking about it, sometimes they'll just go, oh, don't worry, it's okay. It's a skill, but I've seen it work many times. It can even help to shift out of the sale. If they only ask to prove that it's really you, when you ask for money, you can go, oh, I really enjoyed talking to you. If it's making it uncomfortable because I sent that content, we don't need to do that right now. Wait until we trust each other more and then we can continue. A lot of the time, I've seen that they go, oh, no, I want the content, but I want to know it's you, but no, you seem legit and it's fine. Like, that's what you need to do. Don't pressure, don't get defensive. It's all about hiding in plain sight. And the most important thing, if they go, that's fine, move on. If they go, oh yeah, that's okay, like you're so hot, change the topic, right? Like, don't change the topic if they're still questioning you heaps and they're super suspicious. But I've seen chatters like go back to the conversation where the person was suspicious. There is an art to when it's time to move on, fucking move on, or you're gonna keep going in this spiral having the same fucking problem with them. Here's an example of a fan who suspects the content may be pre-recorded. They go, is this taken just now? So instead of getting defensive, we're just gonna use a little humorous remark. Yeah, haha, hence why I'm getting such bad angles without thinking, getting a bit carried away. Even if they follow up on it, going, how do I know that it's not pre-recorded? You could again go, I mean, if I was gonna pre-record my content, I'd put myself together a lot better than this. I'm a mess. They're probably just gonna go, oh, you look great. And then you can go, I mean, if I had more warning, I would have made sure I looked better, but kind of took off in the moment. You see how we seem comfortable talking about it, but we're not getting defensive, and we're just having a bit of a joke, taking the piss out of ourselves. Here's an example of a fan who suspects that they may be talking to someone other than the creator. They go, how do I know this is really you talking? We can send that funny dead eyes emoji, going, to be fair, I understand why you'd be sus on this platform. Most accounts are literally fucked. See, we're agreeing. We are validating their suspicion, not getting super defensive. They even follow up, oh, so it is you? Well, yeah. And then you send a gif of a robot making fun of the fact that people use sexting bots, and they go, that was a joke. And a lot of the time they'll go, haha, okay, it's you. Because no chatter reacts like that. Now we have the same example, but let's say that the fan continued pressing. That wasn't enough for them. They go, how can I know though? I mean, I get why people get sus by creators using robots or whatever. Or is it other people talking? Do you know? Like, you're asking them questions. It's all about being comfortable talking about this. And here's one way you could go on a bit of a tangent to try and distract them. I get heaps of those people with agencies trying to reach out to me saying they'll like billion times my earnings or whatever. They answered the question where we asked, is it robots or people doing the talking? Because people just want to feel like they're talking to a real human. So if you act really human, it's going to be believable. And this is how we could shift out of the sale. I mean, look, if you just want to wait and keep talking to know it's really me, I won't pressure you to buy anything. I'm not a bitch, like making a little joke. It's okay, I trust you. Then we move on. I'm so sweaty just lying here, oh my God, I just realized. Whatever, like that's how you move on, because if we kept talking about it, eventually he's probably gonna ask for verification. Hopefully that kind of encapsulates how you should go about it. With all these examples, I'm not telling you that you need to copy these word for word. I'm mainly just showing you the tone you should be using and what it should kind of look like. It is hard to find chatters that can do that well. That's why it's great to have quality managers on the shifts at all times that are super great at talking like that can fix situations when they break down. Something I've been seeing a lot of chatters struggle with recently is when subscribers have a genuine excuse for needing to leave mid-sale. Let's say you're selling a fan a sexting script and suddenly they go, oh, I'm really enjoying this, but I actually need to go to the gym now. Sorry, I'm gonna have to leave you. Now, a lot of the time they are lying and they just wanna get out of spending more money, but it can be very hard to push on that without seeming like all you want is money. So a lot of chatters will end up pushing too hard and upsetting them, or just seeming like they're money hungry, or giving up way too soon and missing out on money. So here's a framework you can use to make sure that you get the most money without pissing people off. If a subscriber says something like that, like they need to leave, send the next piece of content like you didn't see what they said. If you didn't see it, they can't really blame you. And there's a big chance that if you use a good caption, they're just gonna get at least that last one. To make them most likely to buy it, we really want to increase the value of this video. That means making it a massive deal and tying them in, doing everything we spoke about. I can't believe I did something like this, especially at 2 minutes 37 when I threw in that surprise for you. This is all because of you, blah, blah, blah. I tell chatters that you only want to get 2 no's max. You can keep on pushing if they go, I need to go. You send the pay-per-view. Oh, I really need to go. You can keep on sexting. If they say it one more time, that's when you have to cut it. It is a bit of a power move to unsend the content if this is a big spender. If you know they'll be back, it's gonna make them value the content more because they're like, fuck, if I'm buying it, I need to actually get it, or I might never get the chance to see it. I really don't like this thing where chatters will send content after the fan has already left, going, oh no, I took this for you, pin it for later, whatever it may be. Because then you have to keep reminding them to buy it, and they come back when they're not turned on, and the chat is begging them to get it, and then it becomes a chore. It's like homework, and they won't want to talk to you because they don't want to buy that. When if you'd got them turned on and sold them a new thing, maybe they would have bought that. You always want to be selling new, fresh, exciting content. That's why if they don't buy something in the moment, don't keep on pressing them for weeks down the line to get it. Unless it's like a custom or a really expensive video that they wanted. Now, if they do buy and they keep on going despite needing to go to the gym, keep it going. Fast pace. Now we're gonna really rinse them before they leave. Don't let them just buy that last one and then they seem turned on. It's like, okay, you can go to the gym now. Keep on going. But on the other hand, if they give you 3 no's and you're still sexting, you're still sending content, you're still pushing, they're probably gonna get annoyed. So that's a pretty good framework to follow. But here's some examples. The subscriber goes, I might not be able to get any more, I need to go to the gym. So we're gonna act almost like we didn't see that and start making it a big deal and tying them in. Wow, I can't believe I'm about to do this and it's all your fault. That's kind of just insinuating that what happened in the video is because of them. That's why we say that. Then he goes, what do you mean? We send the pay-per-view, we use a good caption, I can't believe I went this far, I really didn't want you to miss out on the opportunity to see this. Remember, we're always doing them a favor. It's not, oh, I really wanted you to see this one before you go. That would be them doing us a favor. We don't want that. We even added at the end, I threw in a little surprise for you at 36 seconds, see if you can spot it. Create curiosity while tying him in. But what if things had gone a little differently? What if he had said, I don't think I'll be able to see it, I'm sorry. So that's our first no. We send the pay-per-view, same thing, same caption, and then he goes, I'm sorry, I don't think I can. So that's our second no. That means that we back off, it's all right, I understand, no pressure, nothing bad happened, we still tried, but nothing went to a negative place. Because if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, they're eventually gonna go, okay, well, you just want the money. But if he had bought that, we wanna keep on going, because if he's gonna get fully scripted, we wanna collect that money. And that principle is really what a lot of this objection handling stuff is about, knowing when to push and knowing when to back off. That way we preserve as many relationships as we can whilst also collecting as much money as we can. And understanding that dynamic is super important when it comes to dealing with your whales. And that's something that a lot of chatters just cannot get right. That's why I made this video all about getting the most out of your whales and keeping them for the longest period of time. So watch that. That's there. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers and enjoy the rest of your day.